What's up, guys? I found this steampunk hat. So I mean, I couldn't find the glasses. I had glasses for it, and I think I got this on the coast. Does it look better this way or this way? Oh yeah, that's better, right? Okay. So I figured I'd get on here, right? Tell you guys a story. Might as well tell you a story. Story time. It's Wednesday. We could do story time, right? So Dylan and I went down to the river and just, I spent the morning doing my thing, whatever creation I'm working on, and went down to the river, and we'd seen these boys always in the river every time I've gone by there. And so they're jumping off one of the concrete pieces in the river that the old bridge, the old Benton City Bridge is on. And so we go down there. I was like, hey, well, let's go visit with these kids. And so we pulled on there, played around with these kids. We went diving in around that thing with goggles. I was a river rat growing up, and I've never grown up. I don't know why you guys grew up. I have never figured it out. I don't know why I grew up, but I started to grow up for a while, right? But now, no. So I got to tell you guys a story because I was thinking about this on the way back. We packed up our stuff, got out of there, and you are just a kid again when you're doing what you want to do. And as long as you're serving everyone around you, right? See, the problem with the reason that everybody gets stuck and they're suffering in any way is because you have an energetic tie somewhere, right? You could be tied to somebody, so you have to work. If you're tied to anybody, you generally have to work because you're trying to meet somebody else's schedule. You're trying to meet each other's schedules, right? Doesn't matter if there's money being exchanged or not, but you have an energetic tie. To like true freedom is when you're just serving from the inside out and then attracting whatever decides it needs to be served. Because the reality is the energy has to come back to you, right? So it's like a blooming flower. So you just do that. The money is like an illusion. That's just the beast feeding. I mean, that's why it's called that, right? I mean, it's some other animal feeding on the population because that's where all that energy is going, the beast nature. And you're trying to feed yourself and the reason you're trying to feed is because they still think that there's something out there that can hurt you. Nothing can. It's all you. The only way it can hurt you is if you think negatively about it. You don't love it, right? Gotta love everybody. I probably look like a lunatic to a lot of people, but it is what it is, right? I mean, that's true freedom. And all these ascended masters figured that out, right? All you have to do is not start saying, I will serve. You ask and you shall receive, and I'll do anything for you want. Don't expect anything in return. The only time you'll fall into a karmic cycle is if you start taking advantage of me and the energy gets unbalanced. If you start doing as much for me, then it all works out. Everything is energy and information. That is all this is, and it's all you. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen over the next probably 7 or 8 years, right? Because I mean, as soon as I do what I'm doing, it'd be like a bomb dropping, and then everybody will realize, oh shit, because that's the only way that you're going to ascend to a higher level, right? Is if you fall out all your karmic cycles and just walk and just float down the river. You can choose to feed on other, create an unbalanced energetic relationship, but then you're feeding that beast nature because you're trying to control what's next. All you have to do is stay in service. You can't control the larger body, right? So I gotta just let go of control. Who cares about tomorrow? Just do a little bit of service work during the day, like I'm doing. This is service work, right? Just serving the source, right? I've always wondered, and this is a question that I'd like to ask you guys. And if you guys would please put this in the comments, if there's anybody out there like this, okay? I really want to meet somebody that feels this way. Since the time I was born, I have always felt connected to source, like everything around. So even though I was having problems with it and I was falling into doing stupid shit, it never hurt me permanently because I never fell out of love with it, right? It only can hurt you when you fall out of love with it. That's it. Yeah, all you guys. I was thinking of doing this too. So I could like, and this would be fun. We could uh lay out, I could think of somebody, lay out tarot cards, talk about somebody, I'm thinking about that person. And if you think it's you, you could get a hold of me. This wouldn't work after I had like too many subscribers, but if you could convince me that it's you, I'd give you like $10, right? Like if you get a hold of me. But I mean, if you had like, if everybody's like, hey, I think that's me, that could be me, right? And if what if it's fitting like 20 profiles, right? Because family groups go through karmic lessons at the same time, right? Everybody's going through karmic lessons at the same time. You're just all trying to solve those energetic problems. Stay in love, transmute any negative energy, right? Because it's all fuel. You can just transmute it into whatever you want. As soon as you control your mind, you control everything, right? No fear. Just can't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. Anyway, yeah. So maybe I'll just leave you guys with that, right? I mean, I'm obviously not going to do that, and it would get too tough, right? I mean, if you were dealing with 50,000, 100,000 people, I don't know. Go ahead and like in the comments. How do you guys like my ratty cat shirt, right? I'm a river rat. I grew up on the river. All I did is jump in and out of the river growing up. I was telling Dylan, so I'll tell you it's one more story. I could say the story for another time, but I'll tell you one more story. Story time. It's story time. 2 stories is better than no stories, or 1 story, unless you're just in a hurry. But if you're in a hurry, you haven't figured any of this out yet. There's no reason to ever get in a hurry. Anyway, so I lived down there and the water would flood all the time. And we lived right across from an island where the water came up and it was really shallow. So, as kids, we built forts down there. We had cables going across the river on the island, swinging back and forth. And there are things that I'm not going to say on live because I don't want certain people to get in trouble. So, but other than that, we had a blast, but stuff would wash up. It's the Yakima River. It comes down through the Yakima Valley, where it's all feedlots and freaking uh it's feedlots and agriculture. So like orchards and hop farms and stuff. So it's all drained in the Yakima. The only other river worse than the Yakima is the Willamette in the Northwest. The Willamette had the record for a while, and they started finding all the dairies. They were just dumping raw sewage, in the 80s, enough to where they had to like build systems to keep from dumping sewage in there. Anyway, cow washed up, down the river, and I had a hunt dog, Jojo. She was half golden retriever, half Vizsla, and a cow washed up. And the only reason I knew a cow washed up is because she came back to the house and was like, "Oh my god!" She rolled, she rolled it, and it was like half rotten. It was the most disgusting thing, and it was so big. We didn't have anybody get it out of there. Stayed down there and just decompose. Right, nasty. Anyway, I can save the rest of my river stories for later. There's a lot of them, but anyway, love you guys. Obviously, not going to do that later. But if you guys think of a game we could play, do that, right? And then I'll be curious. I'd love to hear what you guys are making, because ultimately, if you want to get out of the matrix, all you have to do to get out of the matrix is just start creating something and serving everybody from the inside out, right? So that's easier said than done, because there's people in worse spots. So obviously, game plan long term is to funnel as much money through my ass or anybody that's connected with me to restructure people's lives, right? I mean, that's why we're here. You have to teach them the truth so that they can grow like flowers. All you got to do is teach them the truth. That's it. And the truth will set you free. Love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. I had a great day.